ready yet, like at dinner time. What?
There you go, right?
Okay, you recording, Alex? Okay. All right, the first item is the monopole that was being installed by PSE&G at the Poquott power plant. So I sent this over to everybody. I don't know if you guys had a chance to take a look at it, but this is what, I don't know if the one I sent was in color, but I'm just gonna show you our views.
I got one.
Oh, you did, okay. I gave you a copy
Yeah.
because they gave me one, but I emailed everybody a copy too. So you can see, like from Chestnut, see, it looks like it's right here, but it's not. When I went out on Chestnut with them, it's all the way back on the power plants thing. They're just showing you the line going back where it would go to.
That's Bayview Court, right?
This is Cedar.
Cedar.
Yeah.
Going up to Baby.
This one is Bayview. So here's Bayview. And see, it looks like it's right there in Bayview, but it's really not. It's all the way
Behind
back
those
where the
trees,
stacks are, behind the trees. They're just, we're trying to show if you were standing there and looking through, if you were looking for it.
Right.
I think it's gonna be camouflage, you're not even gonna see it. I would be surprised if you could see it.
It's irrelevant anyway.
Yeah, well, we don't have a
Yeah,
choice.
yeah.
So it's not, yeah, exactly. And this is what it looks like. It's just a big metal pole, so. And they think it'll be done by the end of the year, pretty much.
This is actually going to potentially help us during inclement weather, storms, etc.
Yeah, so basically they already installed the poles that have the smaller arms.
Right.
And then on some of the poles are these switching stations. And that pole is going to remotely from Hicksville talk to the switching station.
Oh, cool.
So there used to be, when I first, like a few years ago, before we started doing all the tree trimming, if one part of, like say Van Brunt Manor Road lost power, almost half the village lost power.
Right.
And the other half would have power. And then if this side, Washington,
Yeah.
Well, sometimes
this
it-
whole side would lose power, and some people up in Tinker Bluff, but one whole side wouldn't. Now they're gonna be able to control that. So if, instead of it being all of like 2 sections, they can section it off and say only 100 people will lose power and we'll try and get out there as fast as we can. And will it work? Who knows? But you know what? It's better than nothing, right?
Sure.
So,
How tall, do they say how tall it is?
I'm sure
100
it's in
foot.
here. 100 foot?
100 feet.
Oh, thanks, Joe.
So in the, that would be visible, at least when the leaves are down. You probably see the top of that.
But I think like the stacks,
I think
people
you catch
stop.
the stacks first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then what's that?
When I was at the meeting at Poquott Village, the power went out. And of course, the mayor right away was like, that's because we can't lose those stacks. Because the minute they lose the stacks, they lose their money.
Yeah.
So she's like, we need those stacks, you know?
They don't lose it anyways.
Yeah. Well, she knows that,
But
but
gave them reached an agreement finally, yeah. They don't lose half of it at least. They got to make up a lot of bucks.
yeah, that's gonna be,
Them and the school district.
yep.
Just keep spending like there's no tomorrow.
It's like Shoreham, you know?
Yeah, sure, at the end of, just before they lost their last buck, was considering putting Wi-Fi in every single house that housed a student. In short, they're gonna connect them to Wi-Fi, directly connect them to Wi-Fi. Run cables out there.
So much for that.
They had more money than God, and they didn't know what the hell to do with it, so they just said, oh, we'll do this, we'll do that. That's in high school in Long Island, it's got carpeted halls.
It does?
Yeah,
Huh.
their hall is all carpets.
So anyone have any questions about that?
Nope.
Nope, okay, I'll email Vinny and just let him know we talked about it tonight, there were no questions. Okay, landscaping, I wanna talk about the preserve. Now, Joe, we're responsible for trimming the preserve? Okay, cause I see there's a lot of trees that are in the wires.
Yeah, if you look on Washington Street, just opposite my street and Singing Wood, right? About 6-8 feet back, you'll see a striped post, striped pole, little plastic thing sticking.
Mm-hmm.
That is sitting in a marker pipe that denotes what the property line is.
Okay,
I put those in there because I was so tired of trying to find the pipe, so I stuck the rods in there, which are from our snowplow thing. So that didn't, if you look at just, I think it's just past Singing Wood on the left, if you're standing on Singing Wood,
right,
on Washington, on your left, you'll see the little post, and further on down, you'll see another one sticking out of the ground, about 6-8 feet back in. anything in front of that is us, anything behind that is them.
Okay,
But now, if the trees are up high and are hitting the wires, because the wires are on our side.
Wires are on our right of way, and the tree company, LIPA,
Takes care of
PSCG, just trimmed everything.
Yeah.
They've
Right,
been in it for 2 days.
So what we're talking about is anything below the wires and from the pole back to the street, right?
They even got below the wires. They cleared 6 to 8.
Yeah, I mean this time, but they don't.
Yeah, they cleared 6 to 8 feet on all sides.
Okay, so.
so we mow and we take care of the
Yes.
front portion, and then anything that's falling or dead in the back.
Yes, the mowers basically run about, whatever width of the mow blade is, 42 inches or 48 inches. One of those big mowers, ride-on mowers. That's basically what they'll do. They make one pass, the width of that deck, and that's all they mow.
Okay,
So bottom line on this is that we don't have to think about this being an additional task and additional expense. Because that was the understanding, that's what we've been doing.
right.
So there's nothing new.
No, there isn't, you're right, okay. I just wanted to know, like, if something falls, or some of the things look like they're ready to tip over at any second, you know?
Oh, okay, well, that's a good point. If we have a tree issue and it's over on our side, then it's ours to
Right.
take care of.
That's what I was trying to figure out before we had that problem. And we had a couple of complaints about the landscaping. I'll email John to get in touch with 4D, but Van Brunt Manor Road hasn't been cleared yet. Just legit, you know, when Mike was doing it before D, like, I felt like the weeding was done. You know, they would walk through and make sure that everything was trimmed. I mean, walking up this path, it's starting to get overgrown. There's poison
Yeah,
ivy.
I cut.
Right, I'm getting, like, me and the dog. Like,
Yeah, I cleared a bunch of that path.
Well, it's a big year for poison ivy too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, wasn't this raised at our last meeting?
Yeah, that's, I mean, I think
So-
what it has to be is it has to be either every other week or so, John goes through either with whoever the new guy is, I think his name is Ken, and says this is what we need to address, this is what we need to address, so that the next week they take care of it. Or at least do it when he can do it and send Ken a list so that he knows to take care of it.
Is there a written guideline in the contract
Mhm.
that says trim? Okay, so
There-
what happens is they're rushing through it, nobody's saying anything.
Right.
So they're just gonna continue on.
Right, and that's why we got rid of the last landscaping company before we took over 4D, because they weren't really, they were just doing what they wanted to do and not going by the contract. And we're paying a lot of money, I mean, we're paying almost $20,000 a year for landscaping. So, you know, they're here, I watch them, they come on Tuesday afternoons, they mow, you know, and they're out of here. And then that's it, they just mow and they leave, you know, so, I can, you know.
Well, my concern in raising that is that I want to make sure that if John is going to take on this responsibility, that it gets done, and then we know, well, then it's 4D.
Yes,
But right now.
we don't know that.
Maybe it's still the same, you know,
Mhm.
he should be taking care of stuff.
4D has a lot of big contracts.
Oh, yeah,
It's a lot of big contracts, big complexes, so, yeah.
And I have to say, anything we ask them to do, they do it, they don't complain, but I think if no one's watching, they're just not gonna, you know, the guys just come in and do it and run out.
Yeah, they don't walk the stairways.
No.
They're not doing that.
No, someone has to say the stairway has to get done, so they go there, you know, so.
You know, we have a new issue, again, probably because of all the rain. There's vines growing up through some of the shrubs that are bordering the parking lot for White Pine. If you walk your dog and you're on gravel, to your right, there's these vines that are killing, they're gonna,
On the side of 23 White Pine?
on that side, right.
Okay.
But it's between that little spit of land that's, you know, where our park is, and the gravel from the driveway.
Hmm.
And, you know, I used to walk around and I'd take my dog and have my clippers in my hands, because every once in a while you get to the path and the stairs and, you know, cut something back. But this, I don't even know how you get rid of something like that. That was on my property.
Is it the wisteria?
It's coming up, no, it's not wisteria. Well, I shouldn't say that. I don't think it's wisteria.
The flowers in the beginning and then.
Yeah, no, I know wisteria, but whatever it is, it grows very fast. I mean, literally, you go the next day and it's like a grapevine, and it's grown this much. but it's all the way out over, now it's starting to go over onto the gravel, literally over and starting to fall down. So, I don't know what we would want them to do, because, if you clip it, it's still it's in the middle of the bush.
Or maybe if they just take it out, I don't know, but we should have them look at it at least, right? Okay.
Maybe they can spray it.
Dare you.
It killed the
Yeah, I think
bush,
Rich did that one time.
kill everything.
Yeah.
I think poison ivy's out of
People
control.
are
I wish there
crazy.
was a way to control that, because the poison ivy's bad this year.
Yeah.
It's everywhere. The whole path, you walk down, whatever you call this path, it is
Indian.
overrun.
Yeah.
Is that what they call this?
The
The stairway?
staircase?
Yeah, I think there's Indian path here and Steve's path on the other side, right?
Okay.
Is that right?
This is Indian.
Okay.
Right, and the path behind
Or
the
Otto's
path
Farm.
behind the tennis courts is not named. We agree on that the last time.
Excuse me?
The
It's
path behind
not.
the tennis court has no name.
Has no name.
It's not really a
It's a
path.
path with no name.
It's a nicely
Let's
walked,
name
it's a
it.
nice
Let's
No,
path.
I know,
Tennis
because it's
courts.
been man-made, basically, of people walking up and down. We can name it.
That's the short.
Well, that's what I said when
That's the
I
shortcut.
asked how Joe was feeling, because I said, that's gonna be named after him.
That's the shortcut.
Jesus, did you hear that?
Not yet.
But,
One day, it'll be named after you.
yeah.
Oh,
We
yeah.
we won't say what
Yeah.
day.
But, I
We
go
all
there
know
all-
what they do.
every day practically, and the poison ivy at the bottom is, with the dog, it's almost impossible. That's where you get the poison ivy from the dog.
Yeah. Let's make sure, Joe, that's not until July 2nd of 2020, after that. Okay,
I spray
potholes,
mine, so I don't worry about it.
potholes and berm repairs, they already started marking them out, and they'll be doing them. They're also going to be fixing on Sharon Avenue, one of the women had trouble with her sprinkler, and so she had to, it was under the road, the sprinkler, because it was in our right of way. So he's gonna fix that. And also on Highview, the way the water came down, the lip of someone's driveway, they actually had him repave their driveway, but lower down the blocks. So the water is coming off onto the grass, but it's coming down to the next door neighbors. So he's just going to build up the driveway so it swerves back into the street, and then the water goes straight down. So.
Who's doing all that?
Vasco, he's not charging us
Okay.
for those two things, he's just gonna do it at, just repair them.
Yeah.
Okay, but he'll do the berms and the potholes, and then he'll give us a price when we're ready for the work on New Street, Maple Street, and Chestnut, so. Frank? Is he here?
I thought I saw him. Here's
Okay,
one.
yeah, well, that's one minute. Tree trimming, Arbor Vista is, they're gonna do all the tree trimming. I have just a question for you, 1 second. At the end of July, except for the tree that was on the corner of White Pine and Osprey, they're gonna take down, they said
took it
this
down
week.
today.
Oh, they did today?
They were here
Oh,
today.
good, okay.
Yeah, he signed off the contract today. I notarized everything today, and they're
Good.
coming in, I think, the second or third week in July.
To do all the rest of the trimming?
The rest of it.
Okay, good. We had,
Road striping will be done, I believe, next week or the week after.
well, that's what we wanted to ask you about. We had two residents that were inquiring about striping on Washington, right?
Yeah.
So the price came in at $2,100, say. Do we need it? We haven't had it in how many years? Is it worth $2,100? Like, what do you think?
When was the last time you had it?
Before we paved over half of Washington Street.
Well, that was just this past year, but
Yeah.
if I was just,
It
I
has
just was looking
not
at it
been
today.
striped in
Mhm.
probably
Yeah.
10 or 15 years.
So with the yellow stripe down the middle, we're talking
Yeah,
about
the double,
side?
it's a
Yellow
double
stripe.
yellow.
So if you were to do the yellow stripe and the white lines along each side, it would basically, well, they say it should slow traffic down a little bit, because technically, it looks like you're narrowing the lanes down a little bit, but since we did that study that time, we really don't have that many cars exceeding the speed limit, it looks like it does. So that's I don't know if it's worth it to spend that kind of money, that's up to you. I don't see an issue, we haven't had any accidents that I'm aware of on Washington that would have been avoided because of the striping.
Can we just put it on hold and wait until?
Well, I feel like, why don't I just go back to the two residents
their
and
concern
say, why do you feel we need this, and what's your concerns, and this is how much it's gonna cost, and do you think it's gonna be really worth it? And if you do, why? And then at least come back, and then we can make a decision, right? Okay.
Well, there was one other thing, and
You just sent
I'm
the
not sure I'm
contract.
remembering this correctly, but one time we were talking about
There's something up on
the white lines at the stop signs.
Right.
And somebody, or perhaps it was you, said that, well, that's really something that's necessary. Is that necessary?
The white lines?
The white lines
Stop,
are-
stop lines.
Stop sign going.
That would, I'm not an expert in traffic, so, that would vary from intersection to intersection, so.
And I'm sure that that's not what we're paying, we're not paying for that.
Right.
That's a whole other job.
Mhm.
They're not
Well, I'm just saying
white
that-
striping.
No, they're
The
just.
white
Sure, it'd be
lines-
less than.
The white lines I was referring to.
The whole
are
village
stop
stop
signs,
signs?
so white
Yeah,
stripe.
the
I don't know.
Oh, yeah, well, that's true. I'm
The
just
whole
thinking
village,
Washington
yeah.
Street, but,
We can't discriminate.
No.
okay.
Now, this striping is only for Washington Street.
Okay, so anything else on maintenance before we go to the next one?
I don't know if this is a maintenance issue, but coming into the village, I noticed that there is a no parking at any time sign.
Yes, I
Yeah.
just
Behind
added to my
our
list.
outside.
Yes, I'm gonna have David move it and put it in. I just,
Yeah, I saw that, I don't know where that came from.
I don't know if it came out, if someone found it somewhere and just stuck it there, who knows?
Yeah, like
Mm.
25.
Okay, number 3, all the commissioner jobs are filled with the exception of the planning board and the ZBA. So if you have anybody that's interested in sitting on those 2 boards, let me know. We need chairman for both of them. And we had a resident, Tina Chaffee, who offered to take over the website, so we're gonna make her commissioner of communications. So, that will be at the organizational meeting on July 12th.
What was it, CBA and what was the other?
Planning. Planning is one person, right? No, 2.
Two
Unless
chairmans,
Jessica
yeah.
wants to come back. I didn't ask her yet.
So
There's Jessica, and then there's the chairman
So it's 2
position,
in
unless
planning.
Ted takes it, but then we would have to fill Ted's spot, right?
We should push Ted to take the chairman's spot.
I think he will. I'm gonna, I'm gonna send him an email and ask him, and
You should only have one of them coming off. They come up one to one. or
we never filled Roger's spot last year, did we?
Yeah.
We made Ted the temporary chairman.
Yeah, but he was only named chair. I believe you got 7 people on the board.
Oh, so then maybe we just have 1 spot for the planning board and then 2 for the
One for the
ZBA.
planning board, which would be the replacement for whoever's term is coming up this year.
Okay,
Your term is basically 7 years and they're alternating where each one, there's only got 1 per year coming up. So they're all staggered. I have to check the dates. They're all
so
on
the
my list.
ZBA, Karen's not coming back, and she was the chairman.
She was the chair.
Was this
She's
her year to
also
be up?
expiring,
Oh.
so basically you're replacing her, and then they've got to figure out, or you've got to come down and meet with them and figure out who the hell's going to be the chair.
Well, for July, I'm gonna ask Jim if he'll just do it for July, if he doesn't want it full, I'll ask him if he wants it full-time, but if he says no, at least just fill in for July so we don't have to cancel
Yeah,
that.
again,
Okay.
you don't have to cancel.
Okay,
All they have to do is have somebody that night select, or between them, select a chair for temporary, for that meeting only.
okay,
They make that determination. Jim's done it before, when Karen's not shown up for a meeting because of whatever the case. Yes, Jim has accepted the chair. That's basically a thing between them. There's
Okay.
5 of them, and it's okay, we need a chair for tonight, who's gonna, anybody wanna volunteer, blah, blah, blah. Or, they'll say, well, how about you, how about you, how about you, and, okay, you got it. You're the chair for tonight, that's it.
So that 3 bodies total or 2? What's the total on it?
2,
Should
we
be
have
two.
2, right?
Should be 2.
And maybe 1, because like I said, I'll ask Jessica if she wants to still
Okay.
stay on. Even if she stays for 1 more year, at least that'll fill the spot for 1 year, so.
Well, she's here, so there's no reason why she
Yeah, she's
wouldn't.
good too.
Yeah, she's good. She's an engineer, environmental.
Okay, so the organizational meeting will be on July 9th. We'll have a working and a business meeting on August 2nd.
Not July 12th?
July 12th.
I mean, July 12th, I'm sorry. I'm actually reading it too, which is pretty scary. August 2nd will be the working and business meeting. And then if we need a meeting on the 23rd for working and business, we'll do that. Or if we just need working at the end of the month.
You're pretty firm on the 2nd, that couldn't be pushed out?
No, it can, that's why I put them here. We're flexible, we could do.
I might be gone that week until the 5th of August.
So if you want, when you know, if you want to send that.
I will.
Because we're not gonna pick that until the July meeting anyway,
Okay,
so we
great.
have time.
Okay.
Okay.
These 2 tentative.
Right.
I took off, what's 5? 5 was gas service?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay. So, we have, how many applications now are we up to? 15, 16?
I haven't touched any of them. don't
So I
know.
know we had two picked up the other day, and I think with those two, it was gonna bring us up to 16. But starting next week, I'm gonna go door to door and start getting people who said, I want it, I'm ready to do it. You know, the few that we had a couple of problems with, get them fixed and get them over there. And start really pushing to get people to sign up. Pretty much, you know, you guys weren't involved when Lee was doing it, Lee Munch. But it was like a weekly thing of her, who doesn't, you know, list, you still have to do this, you still have to do that, you know, so that way we could get it done, because
I can't do it.
it's gonna take a couple of months. So I'll do, I actually
No,
wanna
I
do
can't,
it.
I can't get gas.
Oh.
Everybody wants gas until you say, yeah, okay, fine, let's do it. I don't know.
Did we resolve the issue of people who have houses under construction or not actually got started? Because they said initially, no, you don't count, but then everybody's, that I know of that's in that situation said, no, I definitely want to have it.
I know
Somebody-
Chris Page he's gonna be building a house, and he put in for an application.
And
I
they
put
accepted,
yeah.
because he was the one who brought it up at their meeting.
Yep, he's one, they accepted his. Mhm.
So that would be something to, I don't know, maybe put out on a Facebook page or something like that. In addition to the door-to-door and going off of our original list of the 40 some odd people, is to just put it out there that people who are in that situation can still apply as long as they know that they're going to definitely move ahead with it.
Yep. And some of the people that did, like Jacqueline Taylor, they came out to her house and already told her, like, it's gonna go on this side of your house, this is how many feet you need, this is what it will cost if it's free to the village, this is what it will cost for your house. So as people are getting their applications in, they're coming right out and doing
I got
it.
mine in and I haven't had anybody visit, but at least not that I know of, but I think I mentioned this to you. I was one of the people, even though they didn't, what's her name, didn't tell me, Valerie didn't tell me this. The ID number, it's like the second line, your name and then the ID number,
Mhm.
which you have to call in and get. So I left that blank on the form, and they said that they weren't counting anybody who had that ID number missing on the form, wasn't being counted. So I have the number, and I don't know what to do with it now. I
Well, you can
emailed
get-
it back to Valerie, and I said, can you put this on whatever she's keeping for her records, but on.
Yours didn't come back as one of the ones that had a problem. So I assume she either put it on there and it's fine, but we didn't get anything back from yours.
Should I follow up with anybody, or?
I will. I'll follow up with her.
Okay.
Okay.
Is that street by street or village as a whole, how that works?
It's street by street, yeah.
And also to remind people.
What, you're
that-
92?
91.
91.
That they can, if they can just go for a dryer, barbecue, and the other thing, it counts as a half of the
Mhm,
sign up.
yep.
So there are some people who are in that situation because they don't have, the big expense is doing the
Heat.
diversion. So you can do that later if they think that they can do that. They just bought a dryer, or they just, whatever.
You can do a gas fireplace, you can do a gas
Yeah.
dryer, you can do a gas stove.
Yeah, so you get the, and the advantage is you
Don't
get
have
the
to do your heating
free,
system.
you
Get rid of
know,
our propane
they
stuff.
pay for the hookup for 100 feet. So if that's not an issue, then when the time comes, it's essentially a free hookup. Because they may do it, 5 years from now.
Will they do that? Will they run a line
Yeah.
into X amount for free
Yeah,
and then hook up?
as long as you're committing to use it for, they want you to use it for heat.
Sure.
But if you're not going to convert your furnace to a gas, but you do have a gas dryer, or we'll get a gas dryer, which is a whole lot cheaper.
What's the time frame now? They run the line, it's sitting there.
You
I
have to
commit.
commit to it. I don't really know if you have to
Okay, so-
sign a contract, or
Okay.
I don't know.
I just can't think that they would run it into your property X amount of feet for free,
And cap it. leave
terminate
it there,
it,
right.
and then say, yeah,
No, they'll put it to a meter.
okay.
They
but-
should put it to a meter, and from the meter in, is your installation cost. That's the guy you're talking to get your stuff.
Yeah, I think Bill's just saying how, if I just say I wanna do
Let's do
this,
it.
and then I get it to the meter, but never hook up, they must, you talk to them about it.
I think
Yeah.
they probably
That's a
leave it
good-
in the street
I should-
until you're ready to hook up.
I should probably.
I would bet that they would charge you for the installation at some point if, after a while, they're still not getting the billing.
Yeah.
If the meter isn't turning and they're not billing for it, then after a while they can say, well, then you pay for nothing, you have to pay for the cost of it.
Maybe that's a question when you talk, you can
Yeah.
just ask if there's a time frame.
I mean, some of the gas conversions on Van Brunt Manor Road, the gas line went in and it took like a year before they hooked up because they were waiting for their plumber or this or that, so, no.
Of course, everything is new in my house.
Mm-hmm.
Heating and cooling is brand new, water heater is brand new.
Yeah, well, you would have to wait, it's still gonna be a while, believe me.
Yeah.
Okay, drainage issues on Maple and New, Mike and I were out there, we started looking at it, Rich and him are gonna go out at the end of July with, Chick, and they're just gonna do a study, and that way we could use that study to bid out what it's gonna cost and have an idea of, how much it can cost, hopefully we can use the CHIPS money towards that.
Can they add that to Walnut Beach? Because there's a drainage issue there too.
Well, I can have them look at that too. Yeah.
Rich looked at that once before.
Yeah, we
so-
started the
yeah.
first phase and then the second phase, and then I think the third phase really has to do with the beach. So that's, our next project.
Those drains down there are doing a nice job, but you have the runoff from the driveway of that one property at the end,
Oh,
and it's from the drain down the hill. So the drain's catching everything, but
Are
when
you
you go down
talking
there when
about
it's
the
raining,
cottages on the right-hand side, or you talking about Oak Street?
Oak Street gets caught by the
Cottages.
drains.
Okay.
It's the cottages. So you have the hill from the last drains. And if you go down and you watch it, it just, everything hits the drains, and then from there on, whatever's falling, it's coming out of that driveway, it's coming out of the road, and that's what's making that pond.
But it's also.
Well, it's also-
There's a
there's a
swell
divot
in
there.
the road
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
So, one of the things we talked about, and I don't think we ever really did get a final plan, I suppose.
No, we have
To
to.
raise the beach and then have it pitch backwards to a drain.
Mm.
Right now, it's just.
That's when we need to get engineers in here and really.
Yeah.
I mean, we started talking to Nelson Public Ways, but we really need to sit down. Our first thing has to be a plan. We don't even have a plan yet.
no, there's
So-
no design, there's no what can you, what can't you.
Mhm. I figured that,
Also remind you, we don't own the property.
That's true too.
right,
Well, don't we own half of that road? None of that road?
15 foot. Left-hand
I'd love to
side,
know. I would love to know.
left-hand side of Walnut,
Right.
at the gateway to the
Mhm. Mhm.
parking lot,
Mhm.
to the corner where she makes the right-hand turn,
Mhm.
where that spurred off fences, we own 15 foot.
Mm.
At the turn to the beach, we own 15 foot along the edge. The rest of it is all 27 Walnut.
So then we'll have a real hard time doing any real work if we have to go
We,
through.
we originally had that survey when Bill Manager was roads commissioner, and we had it surveyed, we had monuments put in. They had a monument put on a corner, where she made the right-hand turn. It lasted 2 weeks before some lovely person from Walnut tore it out of the ground and threw it away,
Hmm.
because it was offending them that we would.
but maybe she has to be in on the discussions of what we're gonna do.
It'd be improvement.
Yeah, well, I thought that was your idea. I
Yeah.
thought we were gonna, when we have a meeting, that she was gonna be invited.
Yeah, well, we haven't got that far
Yeah.
because of everything else that's been going on, but now, this is the perfect time, it's the summer. Get her in here, let's see what she thinks. Go down there, walk it, and come up with something, so.
If I were her, I would say, look, I'll maybe even deed it over if we'll fix the bulkheaded property.
We talked-
We would have to offer her something, so
Mhm.
we have to maybe have that discussion first before we have her sit in on it and stuff. 'Cause, we don't know what we could do. And be some legal.
I think that's a good thing to do, either end of July, beginning of August, and get it started so that we could be working on it all next year. So. All right, New York State DEC, I think everybody saw the letter that Rich sent to them.
Mhm.
Okay, and then he said they came out, they did, Suffolk County did vector test, control after they tested it for mosquitoes. And he's waiting for them to come back, contact him about the next step. So he said he'll reach out to them when it gets home.
It's flowing today.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's
Oh,
going
yeah.
up fast.
Mm.
I still am shocked that that's allowed. Just
I don't
unprotected.
know where the drain came
It
from.
defies
It just
common
doesn't.
sense. How would- I know.
I mean, you drain underneath
Yeah,
the street,
where was that drain? That was terminated at some point, right? All of a sudden.
that was inside the road, I think.
Yeah, I don't think there was anything on that side. I think they were just digging there just as a way to
But where
alleviate
did
the
that
road.
drain
flow.
come from that crosses over 25A? where the water's flowing.
Goes on the other side of the road, that's the one that comes out on,
It was there already, they just
Comes out
opened up
along
that
Morton
hole.
Manor.
It was already, it was going there already.
Yeah.
comes out on Morton Manor.
Right.
Yeah, as I remember, when we had the whole Maybeck discussion, that was part of it, was that the water went right through their property at 25A.
That's why we wouldn't allow actually them to build on that parcel, because that's a watershed. Yes,
I just think it's dangerous. What if someone, I don't know, car, I don't
Yeah, I don't
know.
want to,
Yeah,
yeah.
there's not even a barrier there, there's
No.
nothing there.
No.
yeah, they
It's-
should
it's
put a
odd.
barrier
It's
up on.
odd.
Can you imagine if we did that here? We get it. The public meeting. Okay, and then, one of the things we're gonna do at our next meeting is, Scover, which is Suffolk County Village officials, is asking all the villages in this area to support them in a resolution for no offshore drilling. So Port Jeff has signed it, Belterra signed it, Oldfield signed it, Nissaquag signed it, so,
Who's talking about drilling offshore in the
Uh,
sound?
it's not, it's a, like, private company that wants to come in to do it, and they don't wanna allow it to happen.
What do they wanna do? What are they drilling for?
No, I don't know. This is just a resolution that there's no drilling.
Because.
Offshore oil drilling.
Oh, is it oil?
Is that what it is?
Trump
Off the shelf,
opened it up
yeah.
to.
He opened up the entire coastline. And
So,
we'll keep more.
We'll be
for the
passing a
offshore.
resolution along with everyone.
What about Walnut Beach Tracks, number 8?
Rake.
Rake,
Rakes,
yeah,
Rake, I'm
sorry.
sorry.
Oh, mine was out of order. I meant the rake. So, we had talked about getting rid of the seaweed instead of Chris and his children down there on Sunday raking it. You said you had somebody who had a tractor?
Well, Mary Ann has a quad, and she brought it upstate, but
Okay.
as soon as she knows that we have the rake, she'll just bring it down and keep it here.
So did we,
So
I
she
think,
has it.
didn't we already get prices for this?
I wanna say 250, but Eddie was looking.
Okay.
So I'll double check with Eddie.
What's the hookup on the rake? Does the quad have, is it like a standard
I think it's a hitch.
Hitch?
I think it's a ball.
Ball hitch?
To be honest, yeah, but I'll call Eddie and follow up and.
If we do that, we have to have a plan about where that's all gonna go, because you're gonna be scraping up a
Right.
lot of rocks and other things.
No, it doesn't really pull up rocks. The tines
It's
only
good.
grab like the
It's
rocks
spatial,
will just,
yeah.
they're
The
very
lands,
loose. They just do this and then they pull the.
All right, so let's say it's all organic matter, where's it gonna go?
yeah. So we talked about this last time.
Mhm.
Right now, we all rake when we're going down to enjoy the beach. And
In that little corner area?
Billy has created a section where it goes into that corner as you enter. So it's not raking every day, it'd be raking Friday, Saturday, Sunday type thing, right? Just so when the majority of people use it.
Yeah. So some days you won't even need to, but there are days when you'll need it.
And would it be bad to rake it and just leave it on the side on the shoreline and let it just get engulfed by the tide again?
No, I mean, if we can put it directly there, because my vision for when we open up that beach a little bit is that corner is going to be filled
Yeah,
and raised up as a kind of a berm.
yeah.
I mean, I don't know,
To try.
nobody knows what we're gonna be allowed to do and whatever, but,
Yeah.
so whatever we put in there that's fine.
Yeah,
It's not as if it's a live marsh with.
It's not gonna be a lot, and again, if we just take it to either side and leave it on the shore